Hi, and welcome to this live reading from Reaper by Bianca Lee Ward, and this is presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Prologue. She's not mine. Reaper. I want her. Those curves, that smile. I've never been so attracted to a woman. I take a swig of my beer and watch as she talks to her sister Elena. We are at Elena and Axel's wedding. The men mentioned Elena had a sister, but I have never seen her before today, and I know I won't be forgetting her anytime soon. She leans in, picks up her champagne, and takes a few sips. When she places it on the table, the strap of her dress falls from her shoulder, and all I want to do is taste her. I readjust myself in my seat. Viper elbows me. You like her? He gives Elena's sister a pointed look. Bomber leans in from the other side of me, listening to our conversation. I do. I want her badly. Her name's Ava, says Viper. I raise a brow, and he grins smugly. What? He says with his hands up. She's fucking hot, so of course I asked that Axel about her. My jaw clenches. The possessiveness shooting through me surprises me. I don't even know her. I glance at Bomber, and the side of his lip twitches like he's smothering a smirk. The observant bastard misses nothing. She's married, Viper chimes in. Not that it means anything these days. I lift my hand to my chin. I wonder how committed. Axel didn't say, but he warned me to stay away. He said, and I quote, I want to have sex with my wife tonight, and I don't want anyone fucking that up for me, so Ava's off limits. Viper's voice mocks Axel's. Ava is still deep in conversation with Elena, then they laugh. The music is too loud, so I can't hear them, but it makes me curious as to what her laugh sounds like. Is her husband here? I ask Viper. He laughs. It's the guy sitting next to Elena's mom at the table next to the bride and groom. I peer at Elena's parents and see a man gulping half of his bottle of beer next to them. His eyes are on Ava. She's with the drunk? I ask, shocked, remembering the man stumbling to the bar earlier. Yep, I couldn't believe it either. She's way too good for him. I stare at the man who is what I want. He's average looking, nothing special. I saw him earlier, but I thought he was a family member. I haven't seen him touch or kiss Ava or show any affection that would suggest they're married. If she was mine, I wouldn't be able to keep my hands off of her. I'd want the world to know. Viper, Candy calls from the dance floor. Come and dance with me. His smile widens. I'm coming. He stands. Well, fellas, it's my time to shine. Chuckling, I shake my head. He fixes his hair like he's a peacock parading his feathers. What? I've got moves. Yeah, okay, Justin Timberlake, I taunt. He walks to Candy, puts his arm across her back and dips her backward, lifting a brow and grinning at us. She lets out a squeal and laughs. Demon's leaning back in his chair, looking at the dance floor. He doesn't look like he's watching people dancing. It's like he sees through them, as if his mind is elsewhere. He taps on the table, and even with his tattoos, bruises, and scabs on his knuckles from the other night, stand out. I lean toward him and raise my voice. You don't have to stay here. He slowly turns his head with a wicked smile and then stands. He lifts his chin. I'll see you back at the clubhouse later. With a sharp nod, I watch as people step away from him, giving him room to move freely to the exit. I make eye contact with Axel. He leaves the group and walks to us. Is Demon leaving already? He looks at his watch. It's still early. He looked bored, which is usually not good. He sighs. Good point. Is Ava really married? I ask, hoping Viper got it wrong. Axel's eyes widen. You too? His shoulders drop. Just give me one night of wild sex with my wife. I don't want her in my ears saying that her sister had sex with a Viper and got divorced over it. His voice is whiny. Even though it's tempting, I respect Axel too much to do anything about it, but something claws inside of me. You have my word. He blows out a gush of air. Elena appears at his side. He looks at her, smiles, and puts his arms around her waist. You owe me a dance, she smiles back. I thought you'd never ask. He grabs her hand and leads her to the dance floor. I search for Ava, but can't find her. I sit upright in my chair, looking around. She walked toward the restroom, says Bomber, like he read my mind. We've been friends for a long time. We know each other well. Thanks, I reply, my eyes turning to the hallway leading to the bathroom. I fidget in my chair, wanting to get up, but the discussion I had with Axel keeps me seated. I may never see her again, plays in my head. I've never felt a strong pull to a woman before, so I stop fighting myself and then stride toward the restrooms. I won't have sex with her anyway. I'm just curious. As I get closer, she walks out. Her eyes are on her dress as she tries to pull up its cleavage. Her dress covers most of her boobs, but with big perfect tits like that, I don't know why she's bothering. She looks flawless the way it is. She huffs when the dress won't cover her further. When she lifts her eyes, they widen when she sees me staring at her, and it's like someone has punched me in the gut. You're beautiful. Freezing, Ava stares at me with wide eyes. She says nothing, but a blush creeps up her neck and to her face. She breaks eye contact as she picks up her dress. When she looks up at me, she smiles, and her eyes glisten like she's holding back tears. Thank you. In my periphery, her husband approaches us with narrowed eyes, through those swaying to the right. The warmth in my chest dissipates, and my body tenses and turns to stone. I glance at Ava, and when her eyes lock onto her husband, she gasps and steps away from me. Her breathing has picked up. Her shoulders have hunched over, and she looks scared. I fucking hate it. Something isn't right. When he reaches us, I can smell the alcohol in him. He looks me up and down with his glassy eyes, and I don't miss the tightness in his jaw. His hand comes out to me. Bo. I shake his hand, noticing his firm grip. Reaper. He coughs. Well, that's certainly a name you've got there. I ignore him and look at Ava. She swallows thickly as her eyes keep darting between me and her husband. I'm ready to go, Ava. Your parents are leaving too. My eyes widen. No, are you ready to leave? It seems like an order. You can stay with your sister. There are spare rooms available, I tell her. He answers for her. Ava's tired. Then he looks at her. Aren't you? Ah, yes, she replies and gives me a small smile. But I appreciate the offer. Bo grabs her arm. She flinches. My hands clench at my side. Have a good night, she says before they turn and leave. It takes everything in me to stay still, not rip her away from him. My gut churns. Something isn't right. She fears him. I close my eyes briefly. She's not mine, I say to myself. She's not mine. Chapter 1, Clipped Wings. 1 year later, Ava. His loud snoring fills up the room. I watch him closely as I sit up, then drag the duvet off me. When I turn to the edge of the bed, it causes pain to shoot up my side, making my eyes squeeze shut. When my feet hit the floor, I slowly stand, but the bed creaks. It makes my stomach drop. My eyes flick to him, but he's still asleep. I grab my phone from the nightstand. My feet pad on the floor as I tiptoe out of the room. My heartbeat is surging as I quietly pull the door shut. Using my phone as a light, I move to the closet in the spare room, then reach up and grab the old beanie. I open it up to pick out the cash I've been saving. I take my jeans and a loose shirt off the hanger and get changed. I put on the black coat and leave the hood up to cover my head. I grab the backpack with shaky hands and sling it over my shoulder. In the kitchen, I grab my purse and place the money inside. I peek back once more before I open the front door and step outside. Fresh air meets my face, making me shiver, but I know it's not just from the cold. I dart down the stairs, then run into the road, even though every step brings me pain. I run as if someone is chasing me, and even though he's in bed asleep, it still feels like he's here with me. I hope the fear leaves me, even if it means hiding away from him forever. A few streets away, I reach an area surrounded by trees and bushes and pull my phone from my pocket and make a call, even though it fills me with shame. When she answers, loud music and shuffling echoes in the background. Ava, is that you? My mouth goes dry. I'm so weak. I never used to be this person, and here I am calling my younger sister for help. Ava? Hey, Elena, I say through sniffling. Who's that calling? A man asks. Shh, it's my sister, Elena says. What's wrong? Are you okay? She asks, sounding worried. For the first time, I say, no, I'm not. What happened? My stomach plummets. A car rolls by, so I hide behind a tree, paranoid it could be him. I need to get out of here, I whisper, my voice coarse. There's a brief silence before she speaks. What's he done? Nothing. I just need somewhere to stay before I get back on my feet. That's all. I quickly burn through that money I saved if I have to pay for accommodation. At 1 a.m, I didn't think this through. She would have a lot of questions. I've had no contact with her since the wedding, and before that we had been distant for years. She answers, you can stay here if you're okay with staying at a clubhouse because we haven't bought our own place yet. My sister married a biker a year ago, and at any point I would have said no way, but I will stay anywhere. That's fine. I promise I won't stay long. It's just until I can get a job. Are you guys getting a divorce or something? Pausing, I close my eyes. Something like that. She sighs. I'm glad you're getting out of that marriage. It felt like I lost you to him. You stopped calling. She pays more attention than I thought. I'll catch a bus there. Can you tell me the address? Don't be stupid. You have to tell me something. I exhale through my mouth, knowing no makeup could hide the bruise on my face from yesterday morning. So am I meeting you at your house or? No, I'm coming, I hear the male voice again. I've met her husband only briefly, so I'm not sure how he will react. Where am I picking you up? I think he'll check public transportation for me if he wakes up. Do you remember the park near my house? I don't think he'll look for me at the park. I can get there from here without going on the road. At this time of night, are you insane? Please. My voice is strained. Again, she sighs. Promise me you'll call if you see anything suspicious. I will. Okay, we will get there as soon as we can. Relief floods me, and I make my way to the trail that leads to the park. Without the lights from the street, it's darker, so I turn on my phone's flashlight. Luckily for me, the dirt track has been cleared because the kids use it to ride their bikes through here. It's eerily quiet as I walk through, and those intrusive thoughts flood my brain. I'm so pitiful that I've had to call my sister for help. I should have gotten out of the marriage sooner. I saw the red flags and talked to Mom about it, but she encouraged me to stay. Should have known better than to converse with her, but who else was I going to talk to? The only people Beau approved of were my parents. My ankle rolls on unsteady ground, and I cry out in agony when I land hard. My hands burn from protecting my head and body from the fall. I sit up through a hissed breath and reach out for my phone, which slid under a small shrub. I wipe my hand on my coat to get rid of the dirt, and when I peer down, blood is trickling from the wound. I swap my phone to my bleeding hand to check the other, but it's fine. When I pull my jeans cuff up my calf, I see my ankle is swelling. The swelling is accompanied by a dull ache. My body is sore, but I'm not sure whether it's from my fall or from yesterday. I grasp my bag, bring it to the front of me, and search through it until I find the water bottle. I twist the lid and tip a little on my bleeding hand. It stings, but the dirt and blood run off my hand and onto the ground. When the bleeding stops, I twist the cap on the bottle and put it back in my bag, then leverage myself up with my other hand. I wipe my damp face with my arm, take a deep breath, and step to walk again. My ankle throbs, so I limp the rest of the way. My phone vibrates in my hand, and I swipe a little more dirt off the screen before answering it. Hello? Where are you? Elena asks. I'm nearly there. What's with the heavy breathing? Are you walking? I'll be there soon, I reply and hang up. I turn off my phone, take the SIM card out, then snap the card in half and throw it away. When I reach the clearing, I can see the silhouette of a person swinging on a swing. I have an inkling it's my sister, and I hobble in her direction. The swing stops abruptly. Ava, she calls out and runs toward me. I close my eyes and brace for the impact. Her arms come around me, and she hugs me fiercely, taking all the air out of my lungs. Everything is painful, especially my ribs. When she pulls back, she asks, What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? A deep voice asks. I jump. The familiar panic makes my stomach churn. Elena touches my shoulder gently. I try not to flinch, but I can't help it. Every part of me is on edge. It's okay, she says, her voice soft. It's only Jake. I nod, though my heart doesn't slow. We are in the shadows, so I can't see her clearly. She grasps my sore hand, and I pull it from hers at once. I fell over. Okay, well, let's get you cleaned up. I follow the two, who are whispering to each other. He unlocks a van, and as he opens the door, the inside light comes on. When he gets into it, I get a better glimpse of him. He looks the same as he did at their wedding, though his playful mood from that night is nowhere to be seen. Elena gasps, one hand covering her mouth, and so many emotions cross her face. Sadness and anger and sympathy. It burns me to see that in her eyes. This isn't supposed to be how my life turned out. My shoulders drop. So pathetic. She wipes the corner of her eye with her hand, but she doesn't speak. She stands rigid and stares at me. Jake clears his throat. Come on, Elena, let's get out of here. When I turn to look at him, his eyes widen, then he looks at his wife and frowns. Get in, he says to me, underscoring his words with a jerk of his head. I avoid eye contact with Elena as I pull the backpack off, get into the back of the van, and slide the door shut. Her soft cries follow the slam of the car door. His hand goes across to her thigh to comfort her. The guilt of making her cry fills me with regret. I hate seeing her sad because of me. Once we're driving, Jake's eyes flick between the road and the rearview mirror. Do you have anything for her? Elena asks through sniffling, like first aid or a clean towel or something. Yeah, there should be a metal box in the back there. I'm good, I say. Elena turns to face me with her eyes slightly narrowed. You are far from good. A tinge of frustration weaves into her tone. I thank you for picking me up. I promise I won't stay long. As soon as I get a job, I'll be out of your hair. Being a burden is my worst nightmare come true. Her voice softens. You can stay as long as you like. Let me run it through Reaper first before you make promises for a long-term stay, says Jake. I have money, not much, but I've been saving. I'm happy to help clean and cook and whatever I can until I find a place of my own. Since you've asked us to pick you up in the middle of the night, I'm going to presume your husband or ex-husband doesn't know you've left. If we're bringing you into the clubhouse, is he going to come looking for you? What should we expect to happen? Focusing on my bag, I fidget with the handle. He doesn't know I left or where I'm going, so there shouldn't be any issues. He might search for me, but he won't know that I'll be with Elena. Yeah, and what's with the black eye and bruised cheek? Asked Jake. When he lost his job, his drinking got worse, so I packed a bag and started saving money because I didn't know how much longer I could handle his nasty remarks and controlling behavior. But yesterday was the first day that he hit me, and I knew it was time to leave because he was out of control, and if I didn't get out now, I lift my hand to my throat. I don't know how far he would go next time. Because there would be a next time. There's always a next time. Elena faces me. I'm so sorry. Why didn't you leave when it got bad? You should have called me. I would have been there for you. Worthlessness bubbles up inside me. I didn't think it would come to this. We had to get through it together. I really tried to make it work. Self-loathing takes its place because maybe I didn't try hard enough. Closing my eyes, I bring my feet up onto the seat and pull my knees to my chest to hug myself. Distant chatter continues and exhaustion weighs heavily on me. I'm floating, followed by music and muffled voices, but the pull to sleep is stronger and it takes over once more.